So I know you guys have been waiting on an update on the Ruger SFAR for quite a while now. In this video, that's exactly what we're doing. Coming up. So in my first shots video, I was having quite a few failure to ejects. It was pretty much every round was getting stuck in the chamber. I was having to get it out with a cleaning rod. Motoring it wasn't working, it was just ripping the edge of the case. To try and get around that, I was pretty much lubing every few rounds, just dropping some oil on there, and that got it to kind of cycle, but it just wasn't cycling reliably. And I know many of you have asked about it, if I've had any chances to do anything about it. For the longest time, I hadn't. In all fairness, in the last year, I've gone to training for 2 different companies, and I was gone away from home for a solid 5 months out of the last 12. So I haven't been home to take care of it. So the 2 things that I came up with was either buy like 300 rounds and try and run them through the gun to try and break it in to see if it would improve, or send it back to Ruger. I opted for the less expensive route and just sent it back to Ruger. When I came back, the letter said that the chamber was repaired, whatever that means. I don't know exactly what they did to repair the chamber. I don't know if they honed it out or whatever, but it was obvious that something was out of spec because the spent shell casings were getting stuck in there and wouldn't eject. Nut and Fancy did a video, and it seemed like he had the same malfunction where a spent shell casing got stuck in the chamber, and I think he only had 1 or 2 of those. I was having a whole lot more than what he had.
Did we have reliability problems with the Ruger SFAR? Yes, some. You didn't see that coming, did you? You're like, whoa, the way you're building that up, I thought it was 100%. No, there were some problems. So Sean, in his testing site Alpha, took it out, which I want to talk about here in a second. And he had a really hard jam. I wasn't with him, but he filmed it. I mean, this was a brass casing that got so stuck in the SFAR that he couldn't get it out through normal methods. He couldn't like mortar it, have it come out, nothing. He finally had to get out a cleaning rod and tapped it out, and you'll see it here. That's as it came out. Yeah, and it's stuck. He had 1. And then he had, I think, another stoppage. It just didn't feed. And while I was testing it, I had 1 stoppage.
And to give the Ruger SFAR a fair shake, I have 5 different types of ammunition here. I'll throw up a screenshot of the ammo just in case you want to pause it. But we do have some PMC X-Tac, some PMC Bronze, Aguila, some Igman, and what do we got? Fiocchi. Both PMC and the Igman are all 147 grain. The Fiocchi and the Aguila are 150 grain. Now, I know I'm not going to be out here running 500 or 1,000 rounds through this to test it. I apologize. For 1, my shoulder can't take it. For 2, I have to pay for my own ammo. I don't have any ammo sponsors, channel sponsors, or anything like that. So I have to pay for everything out of my own pocket. So I do apologize that I don't have more ammo than this to test with it. But based on what I had experienced before, this is going to be a good indication if things were repaired. Because we found out on the first shot that there was a problem. So I'm starting with 10 rounds of the Igman. This is what it failed on last time. So we're just going to go ahead and start with this. And if we do have a failure, I will try another magazine. I have a Lancer mag out here just so you guys can know whether or not it was magazine related. Because on that first shots video, I mean, the amount of stupid that's out there is just mind-boggling. People were saying some of the things that I changed on this rifle caused the malfunctions that I was having with the spent shell casings stuck in the chamber. You're telling me that changing out the safety would cause a shell casing to get stuck in the chamber? Putting on anti-walk or anti-rotation pins is gonna cause a spent shell to get stuck in the chamber? No, that is not going to happen. Now I did just get done shooting my MDRX, and The weight difference between the two is absolutely insane. I'm picking this up and like over controlling it because this is half the weight that the MDRX is. All right, that steel was at 70 yards. Let's go out to 120. So far, so good. And actually, we're supposed to check the gas when we're breaking this in. It does say to start out on 3. It looks like we're on gas setting 2. I did forget to check that before I started shooting, but as you can see, it was running just fine so far. And we had last round open, hold open, whatever it's called. Yeah, the bolt locked back on the last round. Before I get into the next rounds, I do want to apologize. The sun is kind of going down and we are in the forest. So there's a bunch of shadows from the trees. Next up, we have the PMC X-Tac. We got 10 rounds loaded up. Ooh, that one hurt. So the PMC X-Tac cycled just fine. Now we got 10 rounds of PMC Bronze loaded up. We'll do some standing shooting. Next up, we got 10 rounds of the Aguila. Uh-oh, that's our first malfunction. Try to get this on camera. There we go. All right, that malfunction was with the Aguila. Still got rounds in there. We got another malfunction. Okay, we have a live round in there. Okay, we had several malfunctions with that Aguila. Next up, we got 10 rounds of the Fiocchi We'll see how that does. And then probably go back and forth to see if the Gila was the only one. But again, we're also still on number 2 for the gas setting. Okay, I would call that no malfunctions. It just didn't lock back on the last round. Now I'm going to go ahead and load up the last 10 rounds of the Aguila. I felt it. Another malfunction. So this is the only ammo that we've been having any malfunctions with, is this Aguila. 150 grain, full metal jacket, boat tail. So maybe it's just the SFAR does not like these. Now I fully recognize that I have not put enough rounds through this to say that it is completely fixed. I can say that it doesn't seem to like the Aguila. Everything else, it seems to be running just fine. But between my shoulder not being able to handle too much more, but also got a special treat, got another SFAR out here that we can try shooting some of this through. He forgot to bring his ammo, so we're gonna use the remainder of my ammo and probably put some of that through his. I really wanna shoot this some more, but again, my shoulder can only take so much of 308. Let's take a look at his rifle and see his setup. My setup, if you haven't seen my other videos, you can check out those, but I have a primary arms micro 5X with an offset hollow sun, I think it's the SCS MOS that mounts directly to their offset mount. Really like this optic setup, and personally I think this kind of kills the 1-4 and 1-6 LPVOs, because this setup only weighs about 11 ounces. This whole rifle it really feels light, and for a 308 it's really nice. I brought my suppressor out here and I didn't even throw that on there. Probably gonna have to do that. So this is my friend Chris. This is his Ruger SFAR, and this is the way he has it set up. So it looks like he's got the 1-8 compact, I believe it's the PLX 1-8. We got a worn mount. We got some red anodized parts on there. Looks like a bad lever, some anti-walk pins, some offset Magpul M-Bus Pros. Looks like he changed out the stock and the grip. And what kind of bipod is that?
The MDT Oryx, I think is what it's called.
MDT?
Oryx.
Forex?
Oryx.
Oryx.
ORYX, I believe.
Okay. All right. And have you already shot this before, or is this gonna be your first shots through it?
First shots.
Okay. I gave him 5 rounds of the Igman to start with. All right, just didn't lock back on the last round, it looks like. I'll go in the same order that I went in, except we don't have any more of the crappy Aguila. Who wants that? We saw enough malfunctions. All right, how about 5 rounds of the PMC X-Tac?
Where I'm shooting.
This is a bit long, it's 25 round, but see if it'll lock back with that in there.
It's a Lancer?
Yeah, it's a Lancer mag. Although that 25 round is a little awkward.
Nope.
All right, let's see here. Okay, so we did do a little bit of troubleshooting. It's the bad lever. It's making contact with the receiver on the left side, and it's keeping from that bolt catch from engaging all the way. But other than that, it's doing good. So it seems like it's a bad lever issue, not a magazine issue, not a SFAR issue. All right, now we're getting loaded up with 5 rounds of PMC bronze, and he did take the bad lever off just to confirm that that's what the issue was. We got lock back on that one. About 5 rounds of Fiocchi. Of course I didn't get the rounds with the Fiocchi on there. I'm guessing I hit, I don't know, I stopped recording. That was 5 rounds of Fiocchi, and it cycled fine, but just didn't lock back. No failures other than it not locking back. Stay away from the Gila. So I do have a few rounds left, and I want to wrap this video up with some suppressed fire. I do have it on the #1 gas setting. Well, I caught that on camera. Hold on to it and stay further back from the scope. Well, I know I'm going to get some comments for that one, but I'm going to leave it in the video. I could edit it out, but I won't. We'll call that the second shots with the Ruger SFAR, and that would be Chris's first shots with his Ruger SFAR. And other than failing to lock back on the last round, his seemed to be working better than mine on its first shots. I'd say that's a pretty decent win so far for him. Although he did mention that his primary arms PLX went out on the 3rd round. So that may or may not be an issue. Did you get back on? Yeah. Okay, he's got it back on, so maybe something was just loose or not tightened enough. So I don't even have mine turned on. So I know a lot of you are curious about the SFAR because you seem to be watching my other videos on it. If you haven't, go ahead and check out those videos if you want to see some of the accessories that I've put on here, some of the changes that I've made, just small little things like the safety and charging handle, stuff like that. But sorry again that it took so long for me to get the update out, but we finally did it. So we're going to wrap up this video right here. We'll catch you on the next project. See ya.